What up YouTube, this is Danny, and let's talk about the G7X Mark II. So, it's about a year later, and I've been using the G7X Mark II for a year. It's kind of redundant what I just said. Anyway, how does it hold up? How do I like it? Let's talk about it briefly. First off, it's by far the best camera I've ever used on the channel, and that includes the DSLR I used to have. The what was it? It was the Canon T3. Paid $649 for that back in 2011 or something like that. It was an okay camera. I didn't use it all that much, probably less than 100 times, so whoever bought it got a good deal. It's basically new. Just because you couldn't flip the screen around, you couldn't see yourself, it just wasn't that great to vlog with or anything really, just for taking pictures, honestly. And, you know, now if you're shooting video and you're behind the camera, no big deal. But for doing this, a lot of times it was out of focus, and that was a huge deal. You know, with the G7X Mark II, it stays in focus for the most part. You can see yourself, the screen flips up or flips down, either one. And it's great for videos like this, for vlogging, you know, so that's a major plus, having the G7X Mark II. So we'll talk about the pros. Pros, it's affordable. I think it's now $6.99. I paid $7.99 a year ago for it, which back then was still, I thought, pretty affordable for the quality of video I get. It can shoot 60 frames per second, 1080p, or it can shoot 23.98 frames per second, 1080p, which is what I use all the time now. I did use 60 for a while, but I like the cinematic mode more, which is 23.98, I believe. 23.98, because 23.98/24 frames per second, that gives you that cinematic mode where it's kind of like a slow motion, but high quality. Which I think is better than using 30 frames per second, because 30 frames per second is not bad, but you just get that little extra few frames and make it give you that motion, the cinematic motion, as I do this with my fingers. So, very cool. The battery life's not bad. It could be better, so I do recommend, if you do have this camera, to get a second battery, as I've not done that yet, but I find myself recharging very often. Quality of the microphone is not bad, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. It's excellent at close-ups, it's excellent with photos, obviously good with video, so it's all around a great camera. And a lot of people think it's a big DSLR. They're surprised when it's just a little tiny camera doing all this work. It's pretty funny, because I will go to a photo shoot, ready to shoot photos, and they're like, with that? I'm like, trust me, just trust me, because they think it's just a regular point and shoot. They don't think it's anything special. And then they see the results, and I'm like, oh my goodness, out of that little camera? Yes. So, you know, don't judge a book by its cover. It has a small size, it's a compact camera. It's got all the qualities of a DSLR minus changing the lenses out, but it's got all the qualities of a DSLR in a very small package, and I love it. David DeFranco uses this. He has the first generation. Casey Neistat uses this, and I think he has both first and second generation of this camera. So several other YouTubers vlog with this camera as well. It's just very nice. So that's the pros, I'd say. Now let's talk about the cons, because it is not perfect. First off, the microphone placement. If I'm holding this camera without a tripod, I tend to cover the mic and not know it, because the microphone is right there. And as you can probably not hear me very well, or if I do that, it's right in the middle. Not good. Not good at all. So, and I think I touched the screen, so I hope it didn't mess up the focus too much. I think we're okay. So, that's one major con, is where they put the microphone. Second thing is, you can't add an external microphone, which I would have loved to add, you know, a Rode video mic if possible, but where would you put it on something so small? So I understand why you can't, I guess. Third, the autofocus is better than it was in the first gen, but it's still not perfect. It still takes a while for me to focus on something. Let me get something real quick. Watch how long this takes. See, it's still trying to focus on my face. So I have to like do this. And then you get the focus of the pen. But as you can see, it's not perfect. It's not the slowest, it could be better. So the next thing, battery life, not the best. What I do like about it though is the zoom noise is pretty minimal. It doesn't make much of a noise at all. It is a slow zoom, but it's because they're trying to keep it quiet, so I understand why it's slow. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else that's negative? Oh, it can only shoot up to 16 minutes before it shuts off, because that's the most it can hold, and that's actually common in most cameras. I know David said he's got the Canon 80D, and I think it goes up to 12 minutes before it shuts off, just because they have a certain load they can handle before they have to turn off. It's just normal. So it's kind of a con, but it's kind of normal. At least mine goes to 16, his only goes up to 12. So yeah, but am I happy with this camera? Absolutely. And is it going to be around for a while? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean I'm not looking at other cameras, because I'm always looking at other cameras. It's an addiction. Once you buy one, you want to buy more. It's just the way it is, you know. So this is not going to be the only camera, and I do look to be buying, or I guess I should say I am looking to buy a new one in about a year. I'll keep using this one, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about like something DSLR big. I kind of want the Canon 80D, or the 90D is out by then. The 90D is out by then. So who knows? But yeah, this has been 1 year later, the Canon G7X Mark II. I will link it below if you want to pick up one yourself. And I think they've got like a bundle on Amazon. I'll check. If there's a bundle, it'll be linked below. Otherwise, it'll just be the camera by itself. So other than those few little cons, definitely the best camera I've ever owned from Canon, by far. And I've owned several DSLRs. This beats all of them. So I do want to look at that Sony A7 though. It ain't exactly cheap. That's a DSLR, and it's thin body, pretty nice. So there you guys go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.